Hi, welcome back to Halloween House. So, I'm sure you've heard the story of Belle Gunness.
The very interesting story of Belle Gunness. Today we went to LaPorte, Indiana in search of Belle Gunness.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Boy, do we find a lot.
Yes. So we'll start somewhat at the beginning. She was born Brynhild Paulstadt Storset, and she was born in 1858. She immigrated to America in 1881. She changed her name to Bella.
And she came to Chicago.
Across the neighbor of Chicago.
While she was in Chicago, she married Mads Sorensen in 1893. They had a candy store. Wasn't very good, a candy store, apparently.
No, and it burned down in 1898.
Yes. And lo and behold, there was insurance.
Insurance payout.
Wonder where she figured out insurance pays you money. Well, maybe this is where. We don't know. While they were in that neighborhood, it doesn't seem very likely that they had any children of their own. But in addition to that candy store, they were also taking in orphans.
Which they got paid to take care of.
Yes. There were a few that had some mysterious circumstances that they passed away from. Carolyn and Alex were two of those children. Others disappeared. Mm-hmm. And back in the day, I mean, some kids could have run away.
Yeah.
We really don't know. But just judging by what we know about Belle now, kind of makes it a little fishy.
Yes. Now, when Mads and Belle first got married, Mads did have a life insurance policy, but Belle figured it wasn't enough and that he should get more coverage. So he had two life insurance policies that would overlap on one day.
Uh-oh.
Guess when he died, On the one day, the two life insurance policies overlapped. And he already had an enlarged heart, so it was easy to pass off as congestive heart failure.
But it may have been strychnine or arsenic as well.
Now, looking back, it was probably poison. So with the life insurance policy, the double life insurance policy from Mads Sorensen, she took the money and bought a farm in LaPorte, Indiana. She did bring some children with her.
Yeah, she brought Jenny Olson, Myrtle, and Lucy Sorensen. And LaPorte's about 70 miles from Chicago, so not too tremendously far, but it was a very rural area at that point in time.
West, 70 miles west of Chicago.
East.
Never eat, so eat. East it is. She's Lois and Clark. So it was in LaPorte that she met Peter Gunness, and she married him on April 1st, 1902, and that union did not last long at all.
No, within about 8 months, he met a terrible death with a meat grinder falling on his head.
Yeah.
Or so she says.
So she says.
So, of course, another life insurance policy, and Belle goes on. She was putting ads in some of the Norwegian newspapers, little Lonely Hearts ads, and trying to get men to come to her home in LaPorte.
Yes.
And we have a letter that was translated from Norwegian to read to you, and this tells about how she brings people to LaPorte.
So this was to Mr. Andrew D. Helgelien, Andrew K. Helgelien, and the letter reads, and this is Belle writing this to him. I went to the post office this morning and had the great pleasure of receiving of one of your very welcome letters. Many thousand thanks for all of them. I keep them all as I would a great treasure. You truly do not know how highly I prize them, as I have not found anything so genuine, Norwegian, and real in all the 20 years I have been in America. I do not think a queen could be good enough for you, and in my thoughts you stand highest above all high, and I will not let anything stand in the way of my doing anything for you, or so that we can meet each other. We shall be so happy once you get here. Then I will make a cream pudding and many other good things. When we get all settled, we will have your dear sister Anna in Lebanon visit us. She means to do well by you. You can be sure of that, and I know I will think as much of her as my own sister, if not more. But, my dear, do not say anything about coming here. Then the surprise will be so much greater when she finds it out. Now, sell all that you can get cash for, and if you have much left, you can easily bring it with you We're as well soon sell it here and get a good price for everything. Leave neither money or stock up there, but make yourself practically free from Dakota, so you will have nothing more to bother with up there. You have been there long enough and worked hard for many a day, and now you must take it a little easier for the rest of your days, and do not fear, but that we will think so much of you. How lonesome it must seem for you to be up there all alone, but you must hurry and come to see us soon as you can. I long for you more each day that goes by. You must forgive me for not writing before, but we have been so busy picking fruit for market, and then all of us, big and little, are kept busy as long as it lasts. There was an old man who became sick and died here last week, and I had to help these people a little to straighten things out. So I have been very busy all the time, but when you come it will be better. Not so? It is so much pleasure to me to keep this secret to ourselves, and to see how surprised everyone will be when they find it out. I have none of my relatives here now, so I am practically alone. I have a sister who lives in Chicago. I also have a brother who lives in Norway. His son Ed was in America a while and studied with a landscape painter, but he went home again. Oh, I can tell you so much about everything when you come. Well, I must now close for this time, waiting to hear from you soon, and then I will write again immediately. 1,000 hearty regards from your friend, Belle Gunness. P.S. As I think we are well enough acquainted, I sign my given name to this letter. Now, my dearest friend, once again, come soon. 4-leaf clover enclosed.
Yeah.
So that pretty much gives you an idea of how she lured these men, and how they just vanished. They didn't tell friends or family where they're going. They just sold everything and went to LaPorte.
Mm-hmm.
They were never seen again. Yes.
Oof. She put a 4-leaf clover in there.
She did. It didn't help them very much.
The original letter and the 4-leaf clover are in the LaPorte Museum for you to view.
So now eventually Andrew did come to LaPorte to meet Belle, and of course he went missing. There was a little bit of luck this time because a brother of Andrew's found the correspondence that Bella had sent him, so it gave him a clue on where to start looking.
And he had been kind of trying to find him, but just wasn't having any luck. And then there was news that on April 28th, 1908, the Gunness house burned to the ground.
And he read about this in a Chicago newspaper, and
Yes.
he immediately returned back to LaPorte, and he asked the authorities if he could dig. Of course, the authorities kind of, laughed at him and didn't go very far.
No, and the reason that he was very intent on digging was because as they were investigating what they called an arson, that they actually arrested the handyman Ray Lampere for, was because in the house they found 4 bodies. They found a woman's body that was decapitated and 3 children. They were all on a mattress in the basement.
And a piano had fallen on them from an upper floor.
So this was very suspicious. And so Andrew's brother did not listen, and he went out there and started digging.
Yeah, he went to the hardware store, he bought himself a shovel, and he started digging.
And he found Andrew.
And the very first body he found was that of his brother Andrew.
Yes.
Of course, that's when
all hell broke loose.
Yes.
All the media was there. People were coming from miles around to see what this craziness was.
And they did eventually find the body of 12 people.
And Jenny.
And Jenny
Olsen was one of them. They are very doubtful about the woman's body that was in that basement. She was much shorter and more petite than Belle Gunness was, and without a head. That also made it a little difficult.
Yes.
A dentist was trying to help with the
a dentist did positively identify her dental work. Now, okay, you might ask, without a head. They were dentures. So obviously, anybody could just take dentures and put them next to a dead body and make it appear as if it's that person. So.
Yes. So there was no proof it was her.
Not at all.
Some of the neighbors did say that they saw her around town and around the neighborhood after all of this happened, which is pretty likely.
Yes.
She was pretty cunning, and always looking for ways to do what she needed to do to survive.
And then going back to Jenny Olson just for a minute, as we stated earlier, she did come here to LaPorte from Chicago with Belle, but she disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, neighbors started wondering, and they would ask, and Belle would always say, "Oh, she went to a boarding school in L.A." And she would always say things to people like, "Oh, Jenny's coming for a visit soon," to keep up the illusion that Jenny was still alive. But it is believed that Jenny was killed shortly after the accidental death of her second husband, Peter Gunness, because she knew too much.
Yeah.
And she needed to be done away with.
Mm-hmm.
So, unfortunately, that's the demise Jenny Olson met.
Yes.
So, the 3 children found in the basement are believed to be Myrtle, Lucy, and Philip, and supposedly Belle,
Mm-hmm.
were taken to Illinois and buried in Forest Home Cemetery.
And Andrew and Jenny are buried in Patton Cemetery, very close to Peter Gunness's grave.
Yes.
Very sad. At least the 2 of them are together in eternity.
So now we're not absolutely sure where the unidentified bodies of the 12 people that they found on the farm. There is a memorial in Pine Lake.
Yes.
Pine Lake Cemetery in LaPorte. We assume they're buried there, but there's really nothing that says for sure.
Right. It just says that it's in memory of them, and it was installed in 2008 on the 100th anniversary of the fire.
Yes.
As for Belle,
what happened to Belle? Did she die in the fire? Did she assume a new identity and go live somewhere else? I don't think it's anything we're ever going to find out. One rumor that just keeps going and going and stays alive is that she was Esther Carlson that lived in L.A. And that's been ferreted out. It's not possible. Esther Carlson was proven to be in a completely different part of the country, working on the East Coast while Belle was still in LaPorte. Belle Gunness and Esther Carlson are not the same person. That rumor just needs to be done away with.
yep,
So,
she took off somewhere.
we don't know what happened. I don't think she died in the fire.
No.
But
No.
I'm surprised we haven't run into another serial killer.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing as Belle, because I don't think she would just quit.
No, that's how she made her living.
Exactly. So,
and she was good at it.
Unfortunately.
And we think maybe she started the fire because she knew she was coming to the point where someone was going to find her out.
Especially with Andrew's brother coming around and really putting the screws through her. Be like, he wasn't going to give up. He wanted to find his brother.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's probably what really, like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah, she stayed her welcome too long and realized it. If you do want to see the original letter, the 4-leaf clover, part of the shed where the bodies were not only found but also kind of laid out, a skull, and other items from Belle Gunness's property. They are in the LaPorte Historical Society Museum.
Yes, and it's the actual skull of a unidentified victim that was
Yes.
found on the property.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when the house burned down, the foundation was saved, and there was another house built on that foundation, and there is actually a family living there.
Yes. It's very easy to find if you look for it. We're not going to disclose the exact address of it out of privacy for the family.
Right.
I did get to meet the mother of that family at one point. She says that her son had friends, especially in the basements, and her son was very young, and she had not told him the history of the property.
Which would be the original basement
Yes.
of Bella's home. Like we said,
So-
the foundation was saved.
That kind of creeped her out.
Mm-hmm.
They would every so often smell smoke, And she found a jawbone on the property. It wasn't very big, but she didn't know if it was human or from a pig. She tried to go to different authorities to see if someone could identify.
They weren't interested.
Nobody wanted to talk about it.
Just weren't interested.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Absolutely.
But her property was on 42 acres. It's now subdivided, and there are many houses on her property. Some of it is still really pretty and woodsy, not developed at all. But there's about 20 houses on what was once her 42-acre farm.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, now we are in LaPorte, Indiana, and we are now standing on what used to be part of Belle Gunness's 42-acre farm.
Yes.
Very, very pretty location. Now, when the house burnt, the foundation was saved, and they did rebuild a new house on that old foundation. We aren't going to show a picture of that because there is a family living there.
Yes, so out of respect to them, we'll give them their privacy. But this would have been property she owned. And
part of the 42 acres.
Whether they
beautiful.
farmed or whatever they did, I know she called it a farm, but it's pretty wooded. So.
Yeah.
Very nice,
pretty.
though.
Come out to LaPorte and try to find it. So we would like to thank the
LaPorte County Historical Society.
It's an absolutely beautiful museum. You definitely should go visit. It's really a hidden gem. There's 3 floors. There's so much more than the Belle Gunness Museum. Belle Gunness Museum.
Yes.
It's worth a trip out to LaPorte just for the museum. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. Check it out. Stay spooky.
Stay spooky.